Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is our Manchester United v Bournemouth preview show, and controversy just never seems to disappear from Manchester United at the moment. Jose Mourinho press conference for the Bournemouth game, basically saying very unhappy with a number of performances against West Brom. Big thumbs up to that. Players have actually played themselves out of the FA Cup game already because of how they played against West Brom. He effectively said players who played in that game aren't even playing in the Spurs game, let alone the Bournemouth game. Just because of salary, price, or how pretty your face is doesn't mean you get selected. You get selected on performance. Brilliant. Love that comment from Mourinho. Absolutely love it. This is why I back Mourinho, because I think he's a brilliant manager. However, I didn't enjoy the comment. You know why I didn't enjoy the comment? Because I pretty much can predict who he's talking about. He's talking about Pogba. He's talking about Herrera. He's probably talking about Mata. Maybe Martial, although Martial didn't started. But let's say Pogba, Herrera, Mata. He will not be talking about Matic, Lukaku, Lingard, who were all just as bad as those players anyway. If he's including everybody, then that's great. But it's the favouritism that I have an issue with. Gary Neville's come out and said that 3 or 4 Manchester United players with bad attitudes should be sold this summer. I don't know who those players are. Gary Neville will know who they are because he's got connections to the club. And I don't think Gary Neville's unprofessional enough not to release that out. I wish I knew who it was. I would predict, and I've got no reason to believe, that Pogba may be that. And I'm not here to say that Pogba shouldn't be sold this summer. But what I am here to say is that it's very hard to turn on Pogba, to turn on anybody else, when there is an agenda behind every player that gets thrown under the bus publicly by Mourinho. Now, Pep Guardiola made a comment a year ago, something along the lines of, if my team's not doing well, that's a failing on me because I'm not doing it right on the training pitch, that they're not doing what I want them to do. Which is what I've been trying to say for the last couple of days about Mourinho coming out and saying the players aren't doing what I tell them to do. Well, as a manager, that's a failing of yours, and I wouldn't be public about that. I would keep that to myself. I would not be throwing people under the bus. And this latest press conference, again, it's like deflection of blame. Oh, players at the weekend, they didn't do well enough, so they're not playing on Saturday. This is the problem for me. This is the problem for me. This is what is irritating me a lot about Manchester United at the moment. We played fantastically well against Manchester City. Herrera was brilliant. Pogba was brilliant. Sanchez was brilliant. They played poorly against West Brom and they're on the scrap heap. No team operates like that. No team successfully operates like that. That one week they're brilliant, the next week they're rubbish, so they're out. You've got to give a team, I mean, Sophie said it at the weekend, the team must be given a chance to gel. We are changing the team every week. We are changing the tactics every week. The West Brom performance was unacceptable, but it's one game after a superb half at the champions' own ground where we were 2-0 down and we sat them down and scored 3 goals. And Pogba, Herrera, Sanchez were fundamental to that. So what I would be saying on Monday morning is I'd be pulling them all in and saying, why is that? What do we do with this massive game against Spurs? Dropping them and causing more dressing room disruption, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. And on top of that, I am fed up to the back teeth of the agenda. Matic was at fault for Gundogan's goal against Man City. Matic and Lukaku were at fault for the 1 goal that West Brom scored. Matic and Lukaku weren't very good against West Brom. Matic and Lukaku will play because he loves them. They're favourites. And I don't know what he thinks about Manchester United fans, but in the majority, we're not stupid. So when you come out and throw people under the bus, subliminally maybe Pogba, as he's done with Shaw and Martial in the past, brilliant. Do that if you want. I don't agree with it, but do that if you want. If they deserve to be publicly humiliated, do it. But don't do it and then not do it to your favourites, because it becomes quite irritating. Lukaku plays too many games for Manchester United. Rashford should be playing up front. In relation to this game against Bournemouth, I'll love it if Lukaku doesn't play tomorrow. Not because I dislike Lukaku. Everyone who watches the channel regularly will know that I think the Lukaku signing's been fantastic. But I don't think he was very good at the weekend. I think he should be dropped for not playing that ball to Martial when he would have been one-on-one and not seeing it. He needs to improve that part of his game. I think Matic should be dropped because he was at fault for that goal. I think everybody needs to kick up the backside every now and again. And if that's what Mourinho does tomorrow and does for the FA Cup semi-final, then I think that's absolutely brilliant. But if it's what I expect it's going to be, we won't see Herrera, Pogba, Mata involved in the next 2 games, but we will see Lingard, Matic, favourites involved, then that taints any strong message he's trying to put out. Because what the message actually is, if I don't really like you much and you play badly, I'm going to humiliate you. But if I do like you and you play badly, you'll still be playing every week. And you can't build a successful team around that. We need consistency. We need consistency from the manager. When players play bad, collectively they are punished. We need consistency from the manager. We need a consistent 11. We need to know what our best 11 is and we need to bloody stick with it. And we need consistency then in results and the way that we play. And all are intertwined with each other. And I don't want to talk about Rashford or Martial or anyone like that today, or Luke Shaw. That's irrelevant. That's not what I'm talking about. If Mourinho's best 11 is Pogba, Herrera, Matic, Sanchez, Lingard, Lukaku, I might disagree with that. But if he plays that for the next 10 games, I think that's brilliant. Because at least we're getting a vision of what Mourinho's best 11 is, his formation is, and what he wants to do. And we might disagree about personnel, but at least we're getting consistency. You cannot have a fantastic second half against Manchester City with a good side. They have a bad performance against West Brom, and you drop everyone after one game. He must persist and solve the problems. The problems reflect on him and his coaching staff. You cannot try and convince millions of Manchester United fans that it's individual players that are going wrong. When you bought those players, when you coach those players, of course the players are culpable, but you as a manager must solve those issues. When you came to the club, you said we were 5 players away from the title. 2 years on, you're still saying we're 5 years on from a title. If I was Manchester United, no way should Mourinho be sacked. I'm Mourinho in. But if I was Ed Woodward, I'm actually at the point now where I would say, you're not selling Pogba or Martial and you're not signing anyone. You can crack on next year with these players, because if you leave in a year and we've let people like Martial, Pogba, Shaw go who are in their early 20s, what state does that leave us in as a club? You can crack on with what you've got. We're not spending money. We're not selling any of these players. You bought them. You're the best manager in the world. Crack on with it for a year, because that's what you've got. And then if Mourinho doesn't like that, he can walk away. But I think it's a massive mistake to start chucking players out the door that have the potential to be great players. I really do. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the comments. Jose doesn't fix, he replaces, says Red Jedi. Beat the best team from 2 goals down away and then lose to the worst team in the league at home, says Jude Raj. Look, that performance on Sunday was rubbish, Jude, but we can't just keep changing it. It's haphazard, it's sporadic, it's a mess. Sunday was unacceptable, but you can't just keep one bad performance and you get rid of everybody. Look, Alexis Sanchez, I like Alexis Sanchez, but let's at least try and do what everyone thinks we should do. Let's try Sanchez on the right, Pogba in a midfield 3 with Matic and Herrera, put Rashford or Martial on the left, and Lukaku up front. Let's go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with that. He's got to start playing the right sort of players and give them a run of games. We must see that. We must see that. Red Jedi, Jose doesn't fix, he replaces. Thanks for the contribution, mate. And Klopp is better than Mourinho, says a Liverpool fan. Well, that's surprising. I wouldn't expect anything different. And couldn't completely agree with all you're saying, Mark, says Mike D. Well, get your comments in. Do drop a like on the video. Let's just have a quick look at this in relation to I mean, what I would say as well is, who do you think he's talking about dropping? He quite clearly said it doesn't matter about your salary, how much you've cost, how pretty your face is. It's about performance, and if you don't perform, you don't play. You know what as well? I've got to say this. I really feel sorry for Herrera, because I was thinking about this morning. I'm going to do the team lineup now, but I was thinking about this morning about Herrera. I thought he was fantastic against Manchester City. Absolutely fantastic. And that chest down for the goal for Pogba was immense. It was brilliant. It was energetic. It was tenacious. Really, really good performance from Ander Herrera. He's been messed around this season. Remember, he was our player of the year last year. We started the season. He was fit. He started with Matic and Fellaini. I don't think Fellaini started the season that well, but he played every week for about 4 games. And that's every week. You know, that's what I'm getting at here. It's like, Fellaini's never played particularly well for United this season, but he still played week after week because Mourinho loves him. So Herrera has one bad game and he's dropped. And this is what I don't like about Mourinho, is that he makes it abundantly clear what players he likes and what he doesn't. And if he likes you, doesn't matter if it's your fault for the goal against West Brom, you're playing next week because you make the tea. But if somebody doesn't like, that was a bad pass, you're out for 5 games. I don't like that. He needs to get beyond this hate. Look, you can manage people that you don't like, but if they're your better performers, you've got to put them in it. And also, What game is anybody watching? Ander Herrera played well in the first half against Bournemouth. I just think it's a release of media agenda that's come from somewhere that we're meant to believe that Herrera was rubbish against West Brom in the first half. If you listen to what Mourinho said, he had to sacrifice a midfielder because he wanted another attacker on. Well, he's never going to take his favourite Matic off, and Pogba obviously took him off 10 minutes later anyway. So from what Mourinho said, Herrera got took off for a tactical change. Herrera didn't play badly against West Brom in the first half, but suddenly Herrera is a bad player again. The agendas really wind me up. Herrera is exactly what that midfield needs, and I would have took Matic off because Matic is too slow to run a midfield on his own, and we were trying to attack. Herrera can make the tackles and feed the attack. So I don't know why Herrera's come into this equation anyway. Maybe some of you disagree or agree with that. But let's have a look. Scott says he'd love to see Rashford and Martial play against Bournemouth. One of the positives about Mourinho is he said if somebody has a good performance against Bournemouth tomorrow night, then they will force themselves into the FA Cup semi-final team. I've got a big concern. This is going to be my predicted lineup. I tell you what, if I get 8 players, I'll be very, very surprised. So I've put a few in there. I think Valencia will obviously definitely start and he'll be wearing the captain's armband. Bailly I think will start, De Gea will start, and I think Lingard will start. Matic, you can pretty much guarantee he will start, and I think that look, I've got a funny feeling that Mourinho will be fully aware that he's got problems with the fan base, and I think that's why we'll see Luke Shaw start. I don't know whether I'm going to be right. I just got a funny feeling we will. Maybe Daley Blind, but I've got a funny feeling that we will. I also think we'll see Scott McTominay, which I agree with. I would play McTominay. I think he deserves to play. I would play McTominay, so I agree with that. I'm going to save the best till last. I think surely he's got to play. I mean, he's got to play. I mean, whatever you think about his performance in the second half, I think every attacker, Rashford, Lingard and Martial, were thrown into an absolute mess against West Brom, and their performances should not be judged on that. It was a mess, and you can't judge them on that. So I think he deserves to start a game. Surely he will start. And I also think that Lukaku should be dropped, simply because, not because of his performance on Sunday, well, maybe because of that, but because it's about time he was not in a game and he was given a chance up front. So I'm hoping that that's going to be going there. That leaves us with 2 players left to pick. I think you know where I'm going to go with this. I don't expect Smalling or Lindelof to feature in the FA Cup semi-final. And I don't think I've even got it. Okay, I can't do what I wanted to do there. Oh no, he is there. He will come in. He will come in. 100%. He's coming in and he's going to be playing in the FA Cup semi-final. 100% Fellaini is coming back in. He's not injured, and Fellaini will definitely come back in for this tie. Say what you like about that. Makes me want to physically throw up. I've had to take a bit of medicine before this, which guarantees it won't make you sick in the next half an hour. So I've got the medicine down. But no, I think Fellaini will come in. And you look at that midfield, and I already feel sorry for the front 3 of Lingard, Rashford and Martial, because McTominay, Matic and Fellaini are very static. And apart from McTominay, who can play a forward pass, the other 2 are just very, very static and defensive-minded. So I think that's the way we'll go. I did put Ashley Young on there. I don't know where he's gone. But effectively, I want to stick with the live comments, so I can't go back to where I was before. But SKN says that Lukaku will start. I think we're going to see Jones and Young. And I think we're going to see Jones and Young in the FA Cup semi-final, which to some is hilarious because who cost us the game against Spurs at Wembley in January? Jones and Young. But I think we will see Jones and Young, which you could say, I would say from Mourinho, that's ridiculously brave and just shows what a top manager he still is capable of being. Others would say that is stupid because those 2 players cost us 2 goals against Spurs. But I think Jones and Bailly are his first choice centre-backs. I've said that all along. I don't agree with it. I think you can't trust Phil Jones. But I think Jones and Bailly are his first choice. I think they will play. And obviously I think Ashley Young will play. Etio News. Mark, why are we always a 45-minute team? Good show. Thanks for the contribution, pal. I think to be honest with you, I mean, what's your thoughts on that starting lineup? I'd be very happy to see Lingard, Rashford and Martial start. I think I'd be very excited with that. The midfield is obviously the place he's having a go at people at the moment. I don't expect to see Herrera and Pogba, and I think that's very, very sad. I think the saddest thing of all is that actually, if you drop Sanchez and play Pogba, you'll see a better Pogba. The ironic thing is, he plays them both together, they play badly, and he drops them both together. When actually, Sanchez without Pogba or Pogba without Sanchez, you'll see a better player. But yeah, let's play them together. Crap. Let's drop them together. You know, play one and not the other. That might be a little bit of a hint as to how you get the best out of them. Or, even better, play them both but put Sanchez on the right. Or even better, if you want Sanchez on the left, put Pogba on the right. It isn't rocket science, but I think we'll see probably both of them dropped. But I'd be ecstatic to see Lukaku and Matic dropped. Not because I dislike them, but I think then, as I said at the start, the favouritism disappears and we start to have a little bit of trust in what he's saying. Because Gary Neville's right. 3 or 4 players. If you've got attitude problems at Manchester United, sell those players. I'm not saying not sell them. That's almost a separate thing. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. There could be a player who we all really like, who is absolutely disruptive, disrespectful to the club, to the manager. Sell them, I agree with that. But we don't know who it is, we don't know whether it's happening. But if that was the case, sell them. And maybe Gary Neville knows a little bit more than we do. So I would agree with that. But what is annoying me is that we consistently see players being publicly humiliated. I mean, Mourinho might be thinking he's been a bit clever with his hints, but when he mentions price, salary and looking nice, it doesn't take much of it doesn't take a genius to realise he's probably talking about Pogba. Slating him publicly again, that's very, very dangerous. But what I want to see is consistency. Stop just dropping Pogba and Herrera. Drop Matic and Lukaku as well. They were crap at the weekend. In fact, it was Matic and Lukaku who cost us the goal against West Brom. If that was Pogba and Herrera, I don't think we would hear the end of it. But because it's his 2 favourites, that's glossed over. Let's go somewhere else. Don't mention that. Don't mention the fact that Lukaku lost his man and Matic got beat in the air. I mean, drop them all. That's what I'm saying. I just want some fairness, some consistency instead of the agenda of going for people that you don't like. And I just want to say about Pogba as well. I've got a guest on tonight at 8 o'clock. Can't wait for it. Do join us for that. We'll be talking about Pogba a little bit more in depth. But let's not forget. I like Pogba and I would not sell him and he would be in my team and I'd be working to try and get the best out of him. Let's not forget. Where the hell did this rumour come from that he was offered to Man City by his agent? And Pep said it publicly. And his agent didn't deny it. Now, did Pogba know about that? Does an agent go off and do something like that without his client knowing? If that's true, for me, that's a sackable offence anyway. Get them out of the club. So don't be totally against Mourinho, because if a player's going behind the club's back, offering themselves out to our rivals, then that's a big, big issue. I think this summer, I mean, we've got to get out of this season with a win. Bournemouth tomorrow, we need. I think the result is secondary. Bournemouth are not a bad side. What we need to see tomorrow, and it's very, very sad, we need to see a performance and a pride in the shirt. And if we get out with a 2-2 draw but we play well, that's something to take into the Spurs game, which is what this week's all about. I'm not going to predict 3-1 to United. I never know what United team's going to turn up anymore, and that's the sad thing. But it's really sad that I'm just saying now, what we need tomorrow is a performance and some pride in the shirt. And that is why Rashford and Martial deserve a start, and Lingard and McTominay and a Luke Shaw. They deserve a start because everybody else didn't perform at the weekend. But we'll see the favourites start, won't we? And we'll see the agenda ones not start. It's worrying. It really is worrying. Pogba out and Lukaku bench, says Khan Triple X. And Pogba said, don't believe the rumours, says Antiguan Heat. Don't believe the rumours, yet somebody publicly said that it happened. Matic and Lukaku actually show passion for United. Roy Keane, I love the name, but sit down with your passion merchant stuff. Fellaini shows passion. He's crap. You know, I'm not bothered. Passion should come just by wearing the shirt. In fact, Roy Keane said it. The only inspiration I needed when I walked into a dressing room was putting that Manchester United shirt on. It's a heavy shirt to carry because of the history in it, but also it makes you fly because of that history. The passion should be absolutely there, 100%. I'm not picking players just because they're passionate. Fellaini's passionate. I wouldn't even let him in Carrington. So it can't just be passion. Flair is very, very important. And actually, that's something as well. Reality is, if Mourinho's invincibles are Lukaku, Matic, Valencia, Young, if they're his invincibles and they're the players that he values, and then people like Martial, Herrera, Pogba, Rashford aren't, well, they're the flair and they're your run-of-the-mill players. That's where Mourinho's going. The conservative run-of-the-mill players and ignoring the flair. What's United? Conservative, run-of-the-mill, or flair? We're flair every day of the week, you know? Anyway, Thanks everybody for watching. We've got a show tonight at 8 o'clock, which I think is going to be really, really good. I must just say as well, our winner of the BetBull full Manchester United kit was Dara Saglani. Well done to him. And also, we've got a little bit of light relief. I think we all need a little bit of light relief. Tonight at 8:30 on our Patreon page, we're doing a live stream Manchester United quiz. Prizes and everything. I'm the quiz master. We'll be giving the questions out on live comments. You get the first one to get the question right gets a point, and the point system will be explained. But basically, if you're not on our Patreon page, $2 a month. There's loads of extra content on there, and it's our first Manchester United live quiz at 8:30 tonight. I'll be letting people know on the 8 o'clock stream on YouTube as well. But if you're not on the Patreon page, the link is in the video description. Get yourself signed up to it we'll do it now early, so you're ready for the stream at 8:30. A Manchester United quiz. I think we all need a little bit of light relief, and I know also some of these questions will be positive. They'll be reminding us of better times, but maybe those better times are to come. I think the positive about tomorrow is hopefully we must see people like Martial and Rashford starting. Negatively, whatever you think about the Sanchez signing, whatever you think about Pogba, it can't be right that those sort of players are not performing and are not being managed correctly. And as I said at the very start, I'm fed up of the lack of consistency at United. We're not being consistent about all players that are badly. Favourites are just being allowed to carry on, whereas others have to get victimised. We're not being consistent about the way that we play. Yes, we were rubbish against West Brom, but a lot of those players were brilliant against Man City. Why not give them another game and see over an average of 3 games what happens? Because if they all played well against Bournemouth, then that's 2 good games, 1 bad game, and you work with that. I just think we've got to stick with the team and persist with it. Stop chopping and changing. It's bloody April. Thanks for watching. Back at 8 o'clock, Patreon page for the quiz. Drop us a like on the video and give us your thoughts. Get commenting below, be answering some of your comments. Speak to you all soon.